Hey friends, we are working on Module 4, the continents, what makes the world fascinating, and we're going to learn some more interesting and fascinating facts about South America and Australia this week. Today's focusing question for lessons 22 to 27 is what amazing animals can people see in South America and Australia? Our content focus question, though, is what is happening in Australia? 2 parts to our lesson today, friends. The second part, how do writers add to their writing? So let's head on over to our reading area, and I'm going to have a seat. And you've got to be wondering why I have this with me today. Well, we will talk about that in a little while, friends. And if you were listening to my content focus question today, I said, what is happening in Australia? Well, that was just like the last lesson that you listened to, same content focus question, except last time we talked about South America, and today we're going to talk about Australia again. Here we go, Australia. We're going to take a closer look again. Just like we did in South America, we're going to use headings to talk about the main topic and key details in this informational text. Remember, headings tells you the topic and it helps you know what that part of the book is. We're going to go to the table of contents that is used by this kind of informational text that lists all the headings in or section names in a text. And so we're going to go today to land and water. So land and water, I can go over to page 19. So the table of contents tells me to go right to page 19. Let's find page 19. All right, land and water. What is this section going to be about, friends? If the heading is land and water, what would it be about? You're right, it's going to be the land and water of Australia. It's going to tell about the land in Australia and the water in Australia. Let's read this page. The center of Australia is dry and is called the Outback. The Outback is hot during the day and cold at night. And here is the photograph of the Outback in Australia. Remember, friends, land and water are natural features or special parts of nature on Earth. So what did you hear on this page? What special natural feature did they talk about? What key details did you hear? Uluru Rock is in the Outback. It is the world's largest rock. And here it is, Uluru Rock. So what key details did you hear, friends? Australia has something called the Outback. The Outback is dry and hot during the day and cold at night. And we learned that this is the world's largest rock. Now let's turn back to the last page, to page 18. Again, we're digging deeper into the text and thinking about what the photographs are also telling us, not just the headings and words, but the photographs. What do you notice about the Outback from this photo? Yeah, the dirt looks red, doesn't it? There's no houses or buildings, no trees, only bushes. So looking carefully at the photo helps you understand a little bit more about what the Outback is like. Australia has forests with tall trees and many plants. Some are found nowhere else in the world. And this is a eucalyptus tree that grows in Australia. And that's why I have this plant, friends. This is actually dried eucalyptus from a eucalyptus tree. It smells really good, and this is actually a decoration that I have in my house. And I thought that something like this might give you a greater understanding of what eucalyptus was. So sometimes we look in the text, and sometimes we use our prior knowledge or other things that we know to help us understand a text. And I wanted to give you a little something else to know to help you understand the text. So this is what grows off of the eucalyptus tree. Australia is home to the Great Barrier Reef. It's the world's biggest coral reef. And this is beautiful coral and many kinds of fish that live in the Great Barrier Reef. That's what the caption told me about this picture. And finally, in this section, we hear rain falls in Australia's low mountains. It creates waterfalls. Then the water flows to the oceans that surround this tiny continent. And this is the Barron Falls in Australia. So what key details did you hear over the last few pages of the land and water in Australia? Well, it has a forest with tall eucalyptus trees. It has the biggest coral reef in the whole world. And there are waterfalls in Australia. Let's turn back to page 24. What is a coral reef? We can use pictures, the photograph clue, just like we did with the Amazon rainforest. Just like we did with the Outback picture. And we can look and think about clues that will help us understand what a coral reef is. I think it's about something underwater, maybe a place where fish lives. I see a lot of fish and it looks like it's underwater. So taking a closer look at the photographs helps me gain a better understanding of what a coral reef is. I did write out a little definition for us though. A coral reef is an underwater mound of coral rock. You can see behind those fish is that mound of rock. Coral reefs make great homes for fish and many other sea creatures. Wow, I think I'd like to learn more about the coral reef. All right, friends. So how were all these key details connected? They were all about what? Land and water in Australia. That's why the heading was land and water. They told us about the main topic and they give us details, more key details, and more information about land and water in Australia. All right, now to the second part of our lesson, friends, our writing lesson. So today I would want you to think about what your favorite natural feature in Australia is. We learned about several different kinds. The outback with the Uluru Rock, the forest with the eucalyptus trees, the coral reef, and the waterfalls. So what is your opinion? What is your favorite one? So we would use our opinion writing and to write in our journal. We're going to tell how you feel about the topic, give a reason that supports your opinion, and another example that supports your opinion as well. And you end your opinion writing with telling how you feel about the topic again. So here is your journal prompt today, friends. This is what you would write in your journal. You can stop it and pause it and write it in a journal or on a piece of paper, or even just telling your family your opinion will give you a chance to practice opinion writing and opinion thinking. So you would say, my favorite natural feature in Australia is, and which one of those ones that I said. I like the, and describe something that you like about that natural feature, and give one more reason. That is why, again, which natural feature you like the best is my favorite natural feature in Australia. But I said that our content focus question was, how do writers add to their writing? So let's pretend that you just said, I like the coral reef, right? It's a good sentence. It starts with an uppercase letter. It ends with a period. There's a little drawing here of water, a rock, and a fish. But is that our best writing that we can do? No, good writers can add a lot more to their writing. They can add details to their sentences and a lot of details to their picture. So I wrote an example of what my opinion is, and even a little bit of art too. So I wrote, my favorite natural feature in Australia is, can you guess? The coral reef. I like it because it has colorful fish, coral, and beautiful plants. That is why the coral reef is my favorite natural feature in Australia. So I described the fish as colorful, I described the plants as beautiful, and I did lots of detail. I did the coral, the plants, the rocks, the fish, and that it's all underwater. So those are some ways that good writers can add to their writing. All right, friends, I'll see you later.